Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, khushamdeed, ji ayanu, goeiemorgen, ishpata.
Bukhair agale, ni hao, tuna shumme, washmale, ohio gonzaimes, guten morgen, hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifa hal, hale shuma chatore, ahlan wasalan marhaba, buna, mucho, gracias, swabia, balli kare. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into PTV World. You're watching World this morning alongside the best host you can ever see on television screen. I'm sorry for being full of my own self early in the morning, but ladies and gentlemen, I am very lucky that I have with me Miss Shiza Hashmi, and I happen to be Shahzad Hassan Khan. Hello, Shiza. How are you doing today?
I'm great, thank you so much for asking. And well, how are you doing? I feel like your energies are definitely a little lifted today. I like it.
Yeah, I feel wonderful. I feel great as well. But today, when I just woke up, I thought, okay, probably you can do the show all by yourself. And then I was like, nah, come on, man. I cannot do that because I took a day off on Monday as well. But other than that, I like working out. I like going to work. I like being presentable. I like, we say it in Urdu, logon ke dilon mein ghar karna. I think this is something which I like the most as well. And some days you're successful. Some days you're not. It's okay because you're going to, inshallah, wake up the next day as well. And you can do the same thing again and again.
Absolutely.
So I think every single day is an opportunity for everybody to make sure that they are destined towards their own destiny and that the voyage they're on will actually keep them going on as well, ladies and gentlemen. That's the only single prayer I have for everybody who's out there. What about you? How do you feel every day when you wake up?
Well, there are different feelings every day, of course.
Yeah.
But today, Shahzad, to be very honest, I cannot get my head beyond the F10 wala ishara.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. I spent today, literally, I spent 28 minutes on that one particular signal. It's not a signal even, right?
Yeah,
What
it's
is
not
it?
even a signal, it's a roundabout.
It's a crossroad. Yeah, literally a roundabout. And it's so frustrating, especially early in the morning when you get to see something so annoying. I think that shapes your
I
day.
think we need to talk about this as well. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, because we are actually on your television screens in 46 different countries.
Yeah.
So we're talking about Pakistan,
Islamabad.
Islamabad, the capital of Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen. And there's this very famous Magla Road, which at night, you would want to drive
Oh,
a
it's
McLaren or a
amazing.
Ferrari or a Rolls Royce at night as well, because that's how peaceful it is, or whatever car you may have. But in the morning, these days, since universities opened up, schools opened up, and colleges opened up, it's just a havoc. And so what I was thinking was, because I was stuck at the same roundabout for extra 15 minutes today, and I was like, okay, if I would come a little earlier,
I came
I might
earlier.
save that time. So, if you came earlier and if you were stuck for like, what, 25 minutes?
Yeah, at least 20. It
I
was
think
so
my time's
bad.
fine then, I think we
What
will
time
just
did
give
you
it.
leave?
I think I left my place at 8, and then
I
from
left by
8 till
7:45.
from 8 till 8:25 I was stuck on that single roundabout as well. But they're doing something about it because today I saw
I think
two
they're
dumpers,
expanding.
because the idea originally was so that they do not have an exit on the roundabout. There's this new society which moved in as well, and so what they're doing is that they're actually going to take it a little back so that there's, at the point of intersection, there's no problem.
Oh, all right, that makes sense. I really hope that happens fast, though.
But-
But here's the thing: us sharing these stories, especially with you early in the morning, from my side, it has a purpose. I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Because it's natural to feel, to have all these feelings, especially to be tipped off by something early in the morning. It's only natural. But it really depends on you, like Shahzad said, to turn your day into another opportunity. Whatever happens to you, you really have to sort of direct yourself, your energies, your reactions in the way that you want it to be. So, well, I'm trying.
Well, that's
with my
wonderful,
coffee
but you
here.
know what? I think getting stuck in a traffic jam early in the morning kind of spoil your moods as well.
It does now.
It's going to have such an impact. And I was like, okay, man. There comes a time when you start to think, okay, will I be in my at my workplace on time?
Right.
That's the time when you actually it starts to ruin your mood. But it's okay, ladies and gentlemen. I
All
think
good.
for everybody who's out there, please make sure that you give yourself that space. But I was thinking that I will get earlier, but now Shiza just said that there's no point of
worse,
getting
yes.
earlier. So I think I'll just stick to my routine as well and give it that 20 minutes which it requires, and that's pretty much about it. What about
Right.
you? So what's your star, by the way?
Oh, I'm a Virgo.
You're a Virgo?
Speaking of stars, today is a special day, Shahzad.
Yes, it is.
We are celebrating someone's birthday, someone very special. Who is it?
Exactly. So it's Saram, ladies and gentlemen. We want to wish him a very happy hashtag Saram wherever you are. Bete, we hope that you get whatever you want in life. Jais khwahishat aapki puri ho. Ameen summa ameen.
Ameen.
So so today it's going to be a different day. Shiza's going to sing us a bit this song for Saram. Let's go. Let's sing it. Come on,
All
Shiza.
right. Happy birthday to you. Thank you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sarab. Happy birthday to you.
So I guess we have some technical difficulty with the screen going on.
I mean,
as
we
well.
do not
Oh,
have a
he's such
technical difficulty. The
cutie.
person sitting behind the technical equipment is having difficulty in operating that technical equipment.
okay, but
I think that's
Sarab-
the only problem.
Yeah, it's such a cute photo, Sarim.
Yes.
You're such a cutie. We really hope you have an amazing year ahead, inshallah.
Inshallah, inshallah. And from tomorrow onwards, yeah, we already had the pictures. So that particular person sitting behind that technical
speak to you.
equipment, please make sure that you do not repeat the same mistake. But other than that,
Yeah,
Shiza, this week is a very important week.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, you know, where you said just a while ago that you felt like you should take today off as well. I'm glad you didn't, because ever since I've been doing this show with you, I feel like the cause that we're going to be talking about today, you feel equally, if not more, then you feel equally, well, I don't know how to say it. You feel equally important for it to discuss it, right?
Yeah.
So I think without me giving it away, I want you to talk about what we are going to be
Exactly,
discussing
that's
today
wonderful.
and for the next week as well.
Exactly. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know, within this week and the next week on 8th of March, it's going to be International Women's Day, which is actually observed by United Nations as well. And the thing which I wanted to talk about is probably I have more acceptability talking about it, is that I have, alhamdulillah, been blessed with 5 sisters.
Mashallah.
And ever since while I was growing up, I could see my grandfather or my father, for that particular reason, making no difference or even in their choices for their boys or for the girls as well, which actually gave us hope as well that, you know, hey, you know what, we were born in an equal world, which
Yeah.
is great. And then, alhamdulillah, I myself have been blessed with baby girls as well. So I feel wonderfully well that, okay, you know, whatever I can do for a son, I should actually be doing for my daughter as well. And since I do not have a son, so I think whatever I wanted to do for a son or for a daughter, I just do it for them as well, which will give them that equilibrium in life, which is very important to make sure that whatever situation you come across in life, you're confident enough. But Shiza, not just that. I think that what we really need to, we will be hitting the nail on the head when we say that, you know, in world today, when we speak about it, there are a lot of stigma. There's a lot of stigma. There's a lot of stereotype. You know, there's a lot of violence, and that circulates around women as well. And we need to kind of counter that by making sure that women get the equal right, the equal opportunity out there as well. Speaking about that, you know, heads of states or government, the total population of women heading states or probably are in public offices is 24.9%. And if that's the average we're going to move forward with, it's going to take us 130 years to kind of come to an equilibrium with that percentage. So I think it's quite a question mark for everybody who's out there as well. And not just that, I think I'm going to take a little bit out of your slide as well, because I just recalled it. And that is that even, you know, within the income disparity, there's 11% of difference.
And this is a generalization.
Exactly. So imagine that, you know, you're at the same position where I was earlier, you know, and I was getting paid probably 100,000 rupees and you're getting paid 89,000 rupees. Why? Because you're a woman.
And it does happen. So here's the thing, I've come across a lot of pages, movements especially, who say we're here to debunk these facts where women are not paid enough and stuff. It is happening. It is. If it's not happening to you, it doesn't mean it's not
We
the
get
truth.
paid equally, yeah.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. But if it's not happening to you, it does not mean it's not the truth. Since you took most of what I was going to say, but I'm going to talk about something that is really, it's okay, that is really happening. Shazad, when we talk about violence, you said stigmatization and everything. We do want to discuss that. But violence specifically, it's so close to my heart to talk about it because it's not just physical. It may occur in any form. For example, the smallest example, right now, there's a girl in one part of Pakistan who is not allowed to use a mobile phone. And if she's caught using a mobile phone or even owning a mobile phone, she will be, well, I don't know what will happen to her. And Shazad, there are so many worse possibilities. And this is just one example of what girls are not allowed to do or make decisions for even their own selves. I want girls, women especially, to see, I want them to be seen in decision-making roles as well. I mean, when you are going to be living in a world where you have to follow the rules, why can't you make the rules? This is what I really want to talk about. Without further ado, I know we talk talk a lot. I'm so sorry for that. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be, well, generating a discourse sort of, and we really hope you guys take something away from this. We've been joined by a very apt panel of guests over here, some amazing women in some amazing roles.
Exactly.
And they shall be discussing and giving their opinions as well. First of all, we have someone who happens to be an educationist, a teacher's trainer. She's been on the show before, one of our very favorites, Musarrat Jahanzeb. Assalamu alaikum, ma'am. Welcome back.
Walaikum assalam, Shiza. How are you? Thank you for having me on the show. And I
Thank
like you speaking so high about yourself, start of the program, because with the women who's sitting around and talking about women empowerment, it's so very important. A man around feels equally good.
Thank you very much. It's wonderful to know this as well, and I think you've made my day as well. But alongside Miss Musarrat, ladies and gentlemen, we've actually been joined by another teacher trainer. She happens to be Miss Tayyiba Zulfikar as well. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, how are you?
Walaikum assalam. Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy that we are here to talk about something which is really important and that people should know that this is something that needs to be talked about.
Exactly, that's wonderful. And there's only one thing, and that is that since the medium of communication over here on our channel is in English, I think such similar programs should actually be on air on Urdu channels as well, so that you know we kind of penetrate as well. Because now, when we have to compare in between urban and the rural life as well, I think that we really need people who communicate more on rural levels as well. But Ms. Musarrat, I'm going to get the conversation started with you. So there's violence, there's stigma, there's stereotype, there's inequality, so many things which a woman actually have to come out of to make sure that they are empowered or they get to do whatever their heart tells them to do as well. Tell us your journey that, okay, when you wanted to do something, you've such an amazing CV for that matter as well. Obviously, it was challenging at some point of your life. How did you come across?
Yeah, thank you, Shahzad. This is such an important and a crucial question. And I think we all at one time and point in our journey of development and progress as a person, as a woman, must pay attention to what actually worked in our development and why are we where we are actually now.
Yes.
So women empowerment is not only the Pakistan issue, it's in fact the global issue, and with the context that the Pakistan has, it becomes all the more crucial, where 32% of the young girls are out of the school, and then by the time they reach matric or grade 9, it's 59% of the girls that drop out of the schools.
Wow.
So when I look back at my journey, so I think part of the answer to that was what exactly you said in your own attitude as a parent, that I have had this very and a no discrimination in my house, because I was actually the sixth daughter of my parent, and this is so funny. I usually mention it I would tease my father at times that why do you call me Musarrat, who a sixth daughter in the house can be a happiness too. And but I think that my confidence and my desire to grow and develop and have this self-worth was given by my very own father.
Right.
So we have had, a very, very good, parenting style I've experienced. And I think, all right, we talk about, women's rights being deprived of education, and they face violence. They have no sense of self-worth. They don't have a confidence to tell the world that they're equally good in all other professions as men are. But the journey has to begin in the very house you're a parent.
Absolutely, 100%.
So I think that a lot of it has to do at what we perceive as a parent in our house, and the girls should be given the right to make choices for themselves.
Yeah.
They have to feel important. They have to be confident of what they do.
Absolutely.
So when we talk about education at large, not only we have this greater number of girls deprived of the educational rights, unfortunately, when they reach to a certain level, the higher education maybe, the number of girls who would then be choosing certain profession is so stigmatized and so very mindset that they have to face. And we even up till now, yes, believe that there are certain professions that are only for men.
Only for men, absolutely.
So I think there is a lot that we need to do, not only at our end as a parent, where we consider a girl child as important as a boy.
Exactly.
We need to make very, very strategic decisions in order to have this right available to the girls, where they can go out and have their education continued.
Absolutely.
And then with certain, levels, we need to give them this confidence that the world is open for them.
Exactly.
And they're equally skillful, they're equally confident. But that has to be, I think, a long journey for a country like
According to
Pakistan.
United Nations, it's going to take us another 130 years to come to that level. But very quickly, moving on to Taiba now. So Taiba, my question for you is very different, and this is more of a solution which I believe in, and I don't know whether you're going to agree to it or not, which is why I'm posing it to you, and that is that I think that this one of the major reasons behind this inequality is women itself. And bear me on this one as well, because, you know, speaking about all of those mothers who are mothers to daughters, you know, it's the mothers who are putting restrictions on the daughters. Tum bahar nahi ja sakti ho, you know, wear proper clothes, or, you know, stuff like that. I don't know what mothers usually say to their daughters as well. But usually if you go like 2 decades back, it was the mother who was holding her daughters back and rather kicking their sons out of the houses as well. And that's you know, and from there onwards, the arc actually went up, and now it's gradually coming down. Now when people are realizing, now when women is more educated, now when women are more into schools and universities and colleges and in fields as well, do you agree to it? Do you think that it's always women pulling the women's leg?
All right, so basically we all agree to the fact that charity begins at home, right? Yeah. And this was the practice that was happening by the parents, that, you know, you have to kind of mentor the daughter instead of your son. Yeah. That, you know, there was a very famous line, ke agle ghar jaake kya karogi, exactly. Right? And men are always, you know, told to, you know, train the woman into submit the wife into their authority. Every single time. So, you know, I grew up, we are 3 sisters and 1 brother, and I grew up with parents who actually made it sure that if the daughters cannot go out after Maghrib, my even brother cannot go out. So the rules were same for all of us, which helped in my brother becoming a way better husband. My brother has 2 daughters, and he is so supportive of them and encouraging of them, and he empowers them in every possible way. So they're like 10 and 12, and they're doing things which, you know, even a boy won't do at that age. So you're absolutely right in that case, but I believe that there is a wave of awareness. And awareness is extremely important, because I remember I attended this event in which they talked about thalassemia, and I had no idea what thalassemia was. But now that I'm aware, I keep on telling my students to get that test. So, you know, with programs like yours, it's extremely important to let people know that, you know, parenting is the main step towards this equal, you know, equal contribution towards empowering men and women both. And a son needs to understand that they have to respect women. They cannot pass any derogatory comments. They cannot pass misogynist comments. It's not okay.
And it's not funny.
It's not funny. It's 2021. And as a teacher, I keep on telling my students that, you know, any kind of racist or misogynist comments is so old. It has to go.
It's even a joke. Just yesterday, I started watching Mad Men. It's a very famous show, and I always wanted to. I don't know why you're laughing, but I'll give you a reason.
Because just yesterday, and I couldn't understand, there were a lot of people who actually kind of wrote on my Snapchat, Madman, Madman, really? Madman. I was like, what's Madman? Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a hit, probably.
Yeah, but it's old anyway. So I started watching it, and just one episode down, I'm so angry at the sexist jokes. But of course, they're trying to show a culture. It's not them. My point being, and thank you, Shazad, for actually talking about where mums from, well, a few years ago, or women for that matter, would put in restrictions. This is where we talk about women in decision making. The mums that you're talking about, they till date do not have the power to make a decision. Yeah. Can you say they can even buy dhania from their own will? Yeah. It's not possible.
Either
it's just
they do not have. Yeah, I'm sorry that I'm going to chip in a little. Either they do not have the authority still, or either they're not in talking terms with their partners.
That is true, but that is a sad truth, you know. Yeah. Well, now, this is the smallest level of decision making when you talk about domestic. And then, of course, we can go further in terms of being a teacher at school and choosing your own, well, way of the curriculum, or being in the assemblies to actually make a law that can change lives. It's not possible. It's not happening. Not in Pakistan, not in first worlds. It's the first time we're seeing a woman in power in the US. So it's the same for everyone. How important do you think a woman's stance can be in decision making?
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting question. To tell you the fact, I always, when I think of this, although this is a very vicious cycle, you know, a son who's watching his father treating himself as, you know, alpha in the family, and then, you know, taking major bits of decision making, and the mother not being involved in a lot of it, is eventually going to be that kind of father. But I think the women empowerment begins with the woman herself. Let me tell you how, because she's raising a son. She's raising a son who's going to be a father, who's going to be a husband later, who's going to grow into an adult, who will be interacting with women outside house and in society, where we talk about a
Yes.
lot of women being victimized and racist comments and all that, and then believing that, okay, oh, this is for women and this is for men only. So I think women themselves have to take on to this role for their own empowerment. If they want to have their daughters have their self-worth, if they want their daughters to have their role played in what they do in their life and how well they do that, they need to give them this confidence. Not only to the daughters, they need to train their sons respect girls and the women.
Yes.
I tell you, in my own school, I planned an activity of cooking and baking for the boys.
Oh,
You know,
was it
I had such a interesting experience seeing that how well they think, because why do we always have to label certain skills for women and certain for men?
Exactly.
So I mean, this was so interesting where they talked about how do they have
The world
this
over, the best chefs are
yeah,
men anyway.
exactly. Yes, they are. But if you look closely into how we treat ourselves in our society, I mean, it is considered a stigma. You won't find
Exactly.
men in the
Exactly.
kitchen. Even if women are working women, they still would be, it's still
In
considered
fact,
their
men will be
responsibility.
waiting for them to come back home and then cook for them and then serve it to them as well.
Where are those
Yes.
men?
I don't know, somewhere around. That's why we're talking about it.
Yeah, but I think this is altogether a cultural change,
Yeah.
but this has to begin with one single step of considering girls as a human being. They have to be,
sensitized.
yes, this, we need to sensitize our sons and the men around, and that can be done in our house. And of course, schools play a very major role in the kind of curriculum that you propose to children and expose to children, the kind of activities that you plan for them. Is there gender equality or not? Are girls going to have the provision to have the same subjects picked up for themselves the boys do?
Yeah.
When it comes to the career counseling, are we actually telling girls that they are capable of taking on to certain
Yeah.
leadership role in different professions?
Exactly.
So I think women have to be leaders for themselves to
Exactly.
empower other women.
And I think that women actually need to empower each other as well. This is very important. But there are two things which are very important. And I'm going to ask the first one because Ms. Musarrat actually spoke about it twice. And that is that, we shouldn't actually be describing or defining roles according to genders. But I think let's bring the cat out of the box as well. And it is somewhat one way or the other. I'm sorry if somebody is actually going to be offended with what I'm going to say, is that physically the design of a boy or a girl is very different, I think that we can probably be more suitable at very strenuous jobs as well. Even if women train, they can do so as well. That's not what my point is. But physically, we are two different bodies. We have different stamina. We have a different capacity. So do you think that every role can actually be given to any gender? Number one. And
If
number
they want
two,
to take it.
Yeah, number two, this is a scenario which I'm going to share with everybody, that I was in conversation with my father, and my father said that, when I had my first daughter, my eldest sister, if I would go back home and my eldest sister would come running towards my father, and he said that if I would pick her up in my lap, it was really looked down upon. And he keeps on telling me now that, when your daughters come to you, you're free to do so, because I won't look down on you like that as well. So I want to talk about both the sentiments.
Yeah, a part of what you said, Shahzad, sounds very positive to me, because a lot of brothers, husband, and fathers would not let girls exposed to a certain thing, thinking that they should be staying
For
protected.
example, if
Yeah.
if somebody's ringing the bell, I won't let
They
my
won't.
sister step out. I'll be like, okay, I'm dekh ke aata
Yeah, I
darwaze pe.
understand. And then I think part of what we have in our culture is not even bad. That's all right. That's the matter of respect. But at the same time, why do we not have this level of acceptance for what women do, and why is that not considered equally important?
True.
So
But
I
they
mean,
want to do it.
yes, I mean, even I am talking about this approach and the mindset. I'm not saying that I should exactly be doing what you're
Wonderful.
doing in your role as a man, but at least I should be respected for what role I play
Exactly.
in the life,
I
and I
love
should
it.
be encouraged for
Wonderfully explained.
Yeah, Taiba, what do you think about it?
Acha, I feel that, you were saying that there are certain things that are associated with men, but I think it's about time that we should let a human decide what they want to do, right?
That's fine.
Because even when we were a fetus, it was like the second trimester when we got to know what our
What
gender
we
was.
were- yes,
So
yes.
basically, we were humans first, and let anyone decide who they want to be, right? So we have to actually do that.
Go on.
Yeah, and we should, I feel that there are certain roles. If a woman says that I want to be a mechanic, for example, then she's tolerated for that. I think it should move more towards acceptance and celebrating their roles in the society, instead of just tolerating them and, baghi ho gayi hai ya ghar se,
Baghi, I hate the term. Like,
exactly.
what even?
They are like, she's haath se bahar nikal gayi hai. I'm a strong, independent woman. Let me make my decisions.
Yeah.
So this is how it should be.
I think it's wonderful, and I just remember that there was this picture which went viral on internet a few days ago, and there was an aircraft technician who happens to be a girl as well, who actually works for PIA. So we have women representation in our armed forces. We have women who are pilots, GD pilots for that matter. I mean, doctors, engineers. We have them everywhere. So
Yes, and
do we
even-
still need to talk about it more and
We
more?
do, Nashas.
Okay.
Yes,
That's the
if-
issue. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because and I'm going to take the, freedom to actually call you privileged as well, because I
Yes,
feel we
true.
are sitting
Very
here,
true.
right?
Absolutely,
And we
we're
are
talking about
just that minor chunk which is invisible.
Exactly.
So here's the thing, I get messages, Shazad, of people watching my show and saying, stop crying about women, blah, blah, blah. I'm privileged. I know I personally do not need to cry about these things, but I will not stop talking about for the 70% or even more women who don't have a voice. I
Exactly.
need to be their voice. I have a platform. I'm going to do that. And this is what I'm also going to be doing right after this very short break as well, ladies and gentlemen. This will go on, but thank you so much, you amazing ladies, for being here. Ma'am
Thank you so
Masarat, Ms.
much.
Taiba, thank you so much
was
for
a
being so
pleasure.
insightful as well.
Yeah.
We're heading out to a very short break. Stay tuned.
Exactly.
Good morning.
Empowering women. That's what we're talking about. Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. For everybody who just got tuned into PTV World, you watching World this morning alongside the very amazing, the very fantastic, the very superb Shiza Hashmi, and I happen to be Shahzad Hassan Khan. And today we are talking about
Women in leadership roles and just women everywhere. How to see them as empowered women. I was going to say how to empower them, but I don't think we can empower them. Women themselves are the one to empower them. So Shahzad, I think in this segment particularly, we need to talk about and rather celebrate the women who were at the forefront during this pandemic. There were a lot of women who were working in the services sector throughout, of course, along with men. I'm not saying men weren't, but we are celebrating women today, so why
Yeah.
not? So women in different roles. And then there was some very brave and courageous women, Shazad, who took this pandemic as an opportunity to realize that I need to be sufficient, probably started something of their own, maybe a business or maybe
Exactly.
anything that they like. So let's talk about it.
And we've seen a lot of women, for example, do you remember that woman who actually came up with her own Ayurvedic products?
Yes,
Then there was
yes.
this woman who started baking at home. Then there was this woman who actually started her own farm products as well, where she was
Yes.
actually delivering to everybody's doorsteps. So, you know, people took advantage of this opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, and it was a blessing in disguise. Everybody was able to reflect upon themselves. But one thing, and that is that I think it's just that mental barrier which you have on your head, and that is when somebody starts to dominate you and you just cannot surpass that. It's exactly like when you tie a horse actually with the rope to a pole, horse being so powerful, but still just because of that rope, the horse cannot move.
Are
So
you
I
saying
think
it's
at times it's
psychological?
the mental barrier, it's psychological at times that you cannot kind of comprehend that pressure and then overcome that or surpass that pressure to be where you want to be. I think this is something which I want to talk about, ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen. We're very lucky that we have been joined by people from different walks of life. First up, the lady who actually started her own fresh farm products as well.
And
She
we
is-
receive products as
yes, she is Miss Sabine Hussain Malik. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning. How are you?
Salam, I'm very good.
Your
Thank
desi
you.
eggs are very expensive. This is something which my mother told me.
Really?
She's like, yeah, this is very expensive. I was like, you know, they're from my friend's farm,
This
but
is
they're
client
fresh.
feedback.
Yeah, but it's an honest feedback, but thank you very much. you know.
I'll look into
and
the
we are,
matter.
and we're very regular, by the way, you know, in ordering. And alongside Ms. Sabine, ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by a social activist and entrepreneur. And yeah, her brand is Pehchan Pakistan. She is Meera Malik. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Walaikum assalam and a very good morning to all of you.
Thank you very much.
your
I love your
energy.
energy. It's
Same here.
contagious. So let's get the conversation started.
Let's do it.
Do you think that it's just that mental barrier which does not
I
let you kind of...
cannot agree with you more.
Okay.
We just cannot undermine the power of positive thinking
Exactly.
or having the right direction and the conviction, the dedication.
Yeah.
See, even, well, I feel everything that is new today, it isn't new. It has already been mentioned in the religion, in the book.
Yeah.
We are just taking it here and naming it different things,
Yep.
right?
Yes, yes, totally.
When we talk about the power of positive thinking, so Allah says, "Mujhse jaisa guman rakhoge main waise hi hu."
Absolutely,
Right?
absolutely.
"Laysa lil insani illa ma sa'a." Whatever you strive for, you're going to get it.
Yeah,
You
true,
need to strive for it.
You
know,
attract what you think.
Absolutely. And well, we all know about the law of attraction, you know. It does, and it is magical. It can actually create magic.
Exactly.
And now these days, apart from encouraging entrepreneurs, I started telling them, you know, have a visual board. Have a visual board of what you look or what you are looking for in future.
Okay.
You have just established your business, probably you're in lakhs. Don't think of yourself as I'm somebody who's making 2 lakh rupees. Think of yourself as a billionaire. Act like a billionaire, think like a billionaire, deal with people like a billionaire.
Yeah.
Because, and never, ever, ever compromise on your values, your integrity, your credibility. Anything
I
that
want
we
to go
do.
to your TED talk.
I would love to do that. See, your personal character reflects in your leadership.
Yes,
it
it
reflects
does.
in your dealings. It reflects everywhere.
And that's
it
how you
all
shape your
starts from here.
personality.
Absolutely.
True, true,
So
100%.
I think this is that law of attraction thing has made you speak about
Yeah.
it, because these days I'm speaking about it, and it came out like magic.
Wonderful.
So thank you.
And maybe I needed to hear these things today as well, so thank you so much. But now, Sabine, I want you to sort of give a personal account of what I'm going to ask. Your business, it's very male-dominated. We don't see a lot of women dealing in farm products or, well, the stuff for that matter. I'm not talking about cooking. I'm talking about creating a business on your farm. Now, you being in the market, or you just telling people, this is what I'm going to do, it can be a yes or no. Did you feel like there was a discrimination that probably your brother or your husband wouldn't have to face otherwise?
No,
Oh, wow,
I think
you're
I'm
lucky
very
then.
lucky. I did not face any sort
Or
of
maybe it's your
discrimination.
circle
No,
that you were dealing in?
no. It actually I've always challenged myself to go into male-dominated fields. I was working for a construction company, and there were about
interesting.
400 men working under me. And I think I was, there was just hardly any female staff. I had actually a good time working with men.
Right. And in these scenarios,
yeah.
you don't really think if you're a if there's a man or a woman, they're people, they're colleagues, right? There's no gender there.
No, there's no problem actually. No, no. And I'm very lucky because I have a very supportive husband, and family is there to support me. So I didn't really face any difficulties. Our Pakistani men are quite nice, honestly. Yeah.
Where's that coming from?
Thank you very much for saying that. I like it. I like it. But you know, I think
That's my perspective.
Okay, okay, of course. your
I've kind
personal
of figured out
experience.
one more thing as well, and I think it's more on the men's side as well, and that is that what usually happens is that when you have a boss who's actually a lady, and she kind of tells you something, and since you've been through that road by yourself as well, and you've had the experience, you're like, yaar, ye baji ko kuch pata nahi. you know, and I think, believe me that it's a very common sentiment as well, that you're actually trying to make them understand something according to, you know, your own business values, and you're like, you know what, this is not how the market works. Madam, pata nahi kya baatein kari. You know, this sentiment really needs to go away.
Yes,
Because,
I
okay,
agree.
whatever you've been through, it's not really important that everybody's going to walk in the same shoes.
Yes.
Right? So how do we do that?
Actually, women, I would say, are very intelligent beings. You know, we are quite sharp. We might not look that,
Oh,
you
he's
know,
laughing.
That's good. I'm not laughing.
but we are quite clever.
Yeah,
And we know how to get our ways done,
Mashallah.
and we know how to deal with the men.
Mashallah.
So
One thing,
really, it's
Sabine,
your
I
own
think-
intelligence.
So it's a
I
very
have to
empowered
add
story.
something over here though, and again, you guys can disagree if you haven't faced this.
But
as well.
women are very emotional. That's where.
Emotional, of course. Wait, hold on. But where you said that
that's
you have
our-
to, women are really smart. Yes,
That's
they
our
are,
weapon, actually.
They're really smart.
Really.
But Sabine, can I tell you that countless times I cannot count. I've been told, please act dumb. Please act dumb in your workspace, in your university dealing with your teachers. If you want the right kind of attention or if you want the right kind of behavior,
Damsel
you
in
have
distress.
to act dumb. Damsel in distress. I don't want to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a thing where you said, Shazad, if you have a female boss, and it's a sort of a label on it as well, right? They're witchy and they're going to be really bossy, and why not? Because they have to maintain that status in the market as well. No one's otherwise going to listen to them.
That's true.
Why do I have to be dumb when I can be that smart?
No, but smart people
Actually-
always know when to play dumb.
Why do-
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
valid
it's
point.
good
But you have
actually.
you must appreciate that women are emotional,
Yeah.
and in the sense that's the reason the care comes from. Actually, that
nurturing.
because they are emotional and sensitive, that's the reason they are so honest towards their work.
Yes.
Comparatively, I'm not being biased, or I am being biased.
Okay.
Yes, women are better managers,
Yeah.
better administrators.
research
Your
says that.
entire education system is like 90% of women are running the show. So they are the best managers. Even when you say, oh, she's just a housewife, she's not just a housewife, she's a homemaker.
Yeah,
So
she's working
do not
365
underestimate,
days.
yes. And she knows, and how many men do you find that tell you, okay, I know, dhobi ke kapre, and I can do the dishes, and the who's going to go dirt, and all the rishtedari and the relatives, and going to work, and balancing life, relationships, it isn't an easy task.
Absolutely.
No, the reason why I said that women are emotional is because I think this is, I'm going to agree to it that, women are intelligent, they're smart, they know how to get the things done as well. But with the emotion bit, what happens is that they get played. And I'm very sorry, that's where you actually lag behind, or you're actually probably not able to get where you're actually thinking, because, there was that emotion of yours which somebody took advantage of. Now, you said that emotion, women use them as a weapon. How do you use it as a weapon so that other women can understand?
Emotional intelligence, emotional quotient, it's very important to have. People who are successful in life, they have a very high EQ, as an
Jazbati nahi
emotional
hote.
quotient. No, they are, like you said, Jazbati, yes. We are human beings, so we have emotions. It's not that we're not emotional. If we don't have any feelings, then we won't be human beings. But it's how we channelize those feelings, how we
I think
control
it's,
them.
Jazbati,
you're
Jazbati
you're
when
talking
we say it in Urdu is very different.
Yeah,
Jazbati
yeah,
is like,
yeah.
probably
Gussa,
overreacting
yeah.
or reacting,
That goes for the men.
Yeah, yeah.
Men are just
Exactly.
Yeah,
You know, most of the fights on the streets, in the parliament, wherever you go, right? The aggression, it can be seen in men.
yeah,
Yes.
that's true.
And
How
on the
many
road,
times
I'm
do you
sorry.
find women are, abusing each other, or scolding,
we
or
know how to
shouting, or
control it.
yelling? So I don't know who's more emotional or Jazbati here, right?
No, but that's not, I think the context is not what I was trying to explain over. Jazbati means that, for example, we're doing something and that something is really important for us.
Overreacting, you mean
yeah,
to
and
say.
somebody said something to you, and then you overreacted all of a sudden, and then that thing is actually out of your hand, just because you know you didn't come across really nice. So there are situations in your life where you really need to control your emotion and be like, yeah, act like a billionaire for that matter. You know,
Yes.
you just said right in the beginning where you were like, you know what, even if we do not have money in our accounts, it totally depends on
Yeah.
us how we behave, and that
And how
confidence
we
is
carry
there.
Exactly,
ourselves.
yes.
So that control
Yeah.
over your own attributes, I believe,
Yes.
is very important to make you reach somewhere. Do you
And
agree
that's
to
the
that?
I agree
intelligence.
to that.
And you were talking about women, you know, actually you were talking about probably referring to women who are naive, who've never really been in the practical field.
It
Those
takes
who
time,
are
right?
those who are
First, it
students,
happens to
yeah, at a
everyone.
very younger age, yes, maybe they are naive. I agree, because we have, you know, mostly our women are raised, girls are raised in a very protective environment. But now I see that our Pakistani women, I'm very proud of them, and I'm very proud to be a Pakistani. They are working wonders in almost all fields of life. It's amazing, really. We must appreciate.
Exactly.
Our
And
women.
there's this one very wonderful experience. I hope she's not listening right now. So we have Lady Boss, I'm sorry, and Miss Shazia Sikandar. I love you for who you are, ma'am.
Yes.
To be very honest, but every time, you know, she was very angry, or probably she didn't like the kind of work we were doing. So she would call us in her office, and I knew how to get away with it. I was like, ma'am, your jodas look so nice and wonderful. And that's where she kind of actually forgot that what she actually had to say as well.
Emotionally intelligent.
Yeah, emotionally.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
so
your-
that's what I'm talking
that's
about.
your EQ.
But other than that, you know, since we're only left with 2 or 3 minutes, we want you to give solutions for parents who are out there, for women who have those mental barriers or who might be emotionally challenged. So let's start with you, Bismillah.
Well, I just want to add on to it. It's equally goes for men.
Exactly.
The moment you laugh loudly on their silly jokes,
Yeah.
you know, you give them a boost to their
I
ego,
see.
and you know it balances that. However, I feel, as Sabine is saying, and she's such a perfect example of today's girl who has been out in the field, and she has taken up a uniquest of all fields, I must say. And it is, I mean, again, yes, you have to be lucky that you have the right circumstances, but then again, eventually it's us who creates the environment around us. And I started, you know, promoting, I say, our hashtag should be she supports her. So women supporting women, I mean, that's the key. And then again, coming back to the brought up, I loved it when you said in the break, it's the brought up that matters. I'm bringing up my son and I'm bringing up my daughter unless I'm not asking my son the value of consent. Let's talk about that. And what is it about, you know, harassing a girl and respecting her sister or anybody in the family? That where our values stand, and that's what we need to promote aggressively. And dekhe, adversities are going to be everywhere. I mean, like, if you're telling me men don't face issues, they do. I mean, it's only the weaker one who gets suppressed regardless of the gender. And you forget it. It's not about man and a woman. Wherever you are in a weaker position and somebody can have a control on you and can they rule you, they will rule you. So it's exactly coming back to how you deal with that situations. What we need to teach our girls are how to deal with difficult situations. This is something we are not teaching in schools. We are not teaching them life skills. We are not teaching them how to appear for an interview. We're not teaching them if they are getting married and your mother-in-law asks for this, what is the right way to respond to her without being disrespectful?
Exactly.
You do not lose your respect. Yelling, shouting does not mean that your validity is there in whatever is your view. So my suggestion, whatever I want to see in today's world is that we are supporting each other. And let me tell you one thing, I'll be very honest that, of course, we promote youngsters and young entrepreneurs, and I've got some university students. It's amazing the way these university students, they support their friends and they're on Insta and sharing like crazy. And you know the best thing about this generation? It wasn't in ours, right? In our generation, if I had started a business, my friend will tell me, "Mujhe to mufti dogi." No.
Exactly.
And this has just drastically changed, and I've learned from these young entrepreneurs that why should we
Sabine can relate.
underestimate because and ask for a free coupon or something only because she's our friend.
Yeah.
Promote the
We
business
should
rather.
be buying, and one thing is a digital sadka. That is like,
What is digital?
that's my own invention of digital
Okay, we're very
sadka.
short on time.
Right, okay,
Yeah.
very quickly. Anybody asks you, कि मेरा subscribe to my channel, it doesn't take anything, just
Digital
one
sadka.
single
Yeah,
click.
that's a digital
And if you have
sadka, yeah.
added to his income, if you have added to his income,
it.
imagine where the sadka is taking you.
It's sadka
It's
jariya then.
everywhere.
It's
It's
digital
digital
sadka
sadka.
jariya. Yeah.
Share good news, share good vibes as a digital
it.
sadka.
And it's wonderful.
Love it.
You know, spreading a positive word of mouth, ladies and gentlemen, truly is a sadka as well. And as Ms. Meera said, that it's a digital sadka. But thank you very much, ladies,
Thank
for joining us. It was wonderful to speak about this as well. And we hope that for everybody who's out there, you're going to speak about it. So every other person who's going to speak about it is going to bring about a change. Just on a very lighter note, I was just very indecisive whether I should say it or not. But I would really love to be on the street where woman is actually, hey, chikne, kidhar ja rahe? Something like that. You know, probably. You know, I think times really need to change. as
Only
well.
Shazad can say that.
But that's because, so if that happens to you, God forbid that happens to you, Shazad, you'll feel harassed.
And
No.
I want to see that change, yeah, in my life. Hey, chikne.
Okay, here's an opportunity, viewers, you know.
Oh, that's an entirely different debate, but it
Yeah,
was
not
again
a
not a
lighter
lighter
note,
note. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you have, because for the next few days we are definitely going to be furthering this discussion and even bringing in newer points as well. So if you have any suggestions, any feedback, do write to us to let us know. On Facebook with the name of,
Well, this morning.
on Twitter,
Well, this morning without a G.
on YouTube,
On YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, you look for PTV World and then World This Morning.
and the repeat of this show you can catch
5 past midnight till the next time. Look after yourselves. And yeah, don't forget to say that ever. All right. Bye-bye. Good morning.
Take care.
Thank you very much.